Welcome back to Historical Tahlequah. I want to introduce my guest for this segment of our program. We are here in the home of Mrs. Sally Ross, Mrs. Wayne Ross. We're in her home, and we have with us also Kate Kelly, who is Tourism Director for the Chamber of Commerce. And they are distinguished ladies because all three of us serve on the Tahlequah History Board. Our board's chief purpose is to write down, to advertise, to tell about the history of Tahlequah. Is that not right, ladies?
That is correct.
Well, let's just kick this portion of the program off. Kate, tell us a little bit about some of the things we've done as a history board.
Well, I'd be pleased to. In a way, I feel a little bit funny about doing this because I'm the new kid on the block. Everybody else has been on the board for a while.
But you're young and beautiful.
Well, SRU and S is Mayor Ross. but since I've been on the board, some of the things we've done is we've gotten several, I'd say at least 4 or 5, I couldn't tell you the exact number right now, properties listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Right.
Which helps to bring recognition to not only those structures, but to our city, and also it helps to preserve that bit of history for generations to come, which I know that we all feel is very important.
Yes, and I believe at this time, ladies, we have 19 properties in the area that are on the National Register of Historic Places. And you know, we have a very distinguished person with us, Mrs. Ross, because she is a former mayor of Tahlequah and the only female mayor we've ever had, and she was a good mayor. And we're in your home, Sally, and we're just so delighted.
Thank you so much, Beth. It's a privilege to serve on the history board for the city of Tahlequah. And our goal is not only to preserve the history, but to endeavor to teach the young people the importance of our history, because many of them don't realize how vital our history is to the whole area.
You're just so right. And with tourism being a big thing in Tahlequah, we certainly need to capitalize upon our history and upon the structures that are still standing. And you know, I think we ought to let the people know that not only do we work to get properties on the National Register, but our board, through funds that are matching grants with the city of Tahlequah, we're able to put up signs that mark homes that have some significance to Tahlequah's history. I think that's important, don't you all?
I think it's very important. Not all of the properties that are on the National Register have signs, and some of the properties that have signs are not on the National Register, but they still are of historic value. And that is an excellent way to mark them, and it's an excellent way for people to look at those signs and say, well, I wonder what's up with that structure and that house. And they'll hopefully then go look and learn a little bit more about it. And it's not just houses. I mean, we've got the Carnegie Library.
Cemeteries?
We have cemeteries.
Churches?
We have the Worcester Cemetery. We have the Illinois River Campground, as well as homes.
And, you know, we're still working on that, too. I think the public needs to know that.
Yes.
That we don't have a lot of money because they're grants, they're matching grants, and we're limited as to the number. 2 are all we can ever do in a year. That's all the money we have to put up the signage. But as the board keeps working toward this, and as Tahlequah helps us and encourages us, then we can continue to do this. And I guess people would like to know that right now we're sitting in a home in the original town site of Tahlequah. The original town site of Tahlequah was 160 acres west of Capitol Square and was so designated back in the 1839, really, when the Cherokee people began to work as they had established their capital here. And I think that's very significant.
This area has a lot of history. And in our bedroom upstairs is where Jack Bliss, our former city attorney, was born. And as he told a lot of the history through the years, he told about going to get the cows, which is down where the high school is now, and he would bring them up and have that responsibility. And he told so many stories that I wish we had recorded. And one thing we want to do is to encourage people to tell us about their history, what they remember of their own family. and record them so that we
yes,
can
to our board.
so we can preserve it.
Yes.
It's
yes.
so important that that is not lost.
Well, and you've mentioned the Blisses, and of course we're going to talk in another segment of this show about the owners of the home. But since you've mentioned that it was a Bliss home, I think we ought to let people know that Charles Fred Bliss Sr. came to Indian Territory in 1903 as a member of the Dawes Commission, and he first lived in Muskogee. And then he established a law office here. And I didn't know until I began to research for this particular segment of Historical Tahlequah that Mrs. Bliss Sr. Was May, let me be sure I have this right, May Bryce, and she was from New York, and she was working for the Dawes Commission, and that's where she met her attorney husband. And of course, people in Tahlequah know Charles Fred Bliss Jr., June Bliss, who was their son, who was born in Muskogee, and then moved to Tahlequah and joined his father after he grew up. When they moved to Tahlequah, when he grew up, he became a partner with his father in the law office, and of course he was very prominent in lots of things. He became a member of the State Court of Criminal Appeals and had been a judge for many years. And so the family is a family of attorneys interested in the law. And had it not been for the Dawes Commission, perhaps that family would not have come into the community and been so prominent in the community. Well, we're going to have to wind up this portion of the show. And Kate, we're so glad you could come and join us here today to help us represent the History Board. And we don't want our audience to go away because we'll be right back after a break.